I found out I was pregnant February 4th of this year. We weren't trying, but we weren't not trying. You know what I'm saying? We knew what we were doing. And Travis wanted babies really, really bad. I mean, he's wanted babies for a long time. I was just adamant on being married first.
2025 was hyped up to be Travis Hunter's year. He came off winning the Heisman Trophy, got scooped up as the number 2 overall pick in the NFL draft, and bagged a massive $30 million signing bonus up front. Fans thought this was the rise of a legend, and the Jaguars thought they had their franchise changer locked down. Off the field, it looked like a fairy tale. Travis married his college sweetheart, Lena, grabbed the keys to a brand new mansion, and even stepped into fatherhood. The media couldn't get enough of the storybook image. Young superstar, loaded contract, family man, playing both sides of the ball like a real-life superhero. People were already calling him the next face of the league. But here's the catch. All that hype came crashing down faster than anyone expected. Travis thought he was Superman, but the reality check has been brutal. Through just 2 games, this whole experiment is looking like one of the dumbest moves in recent NFL memory.
Travis Hunter is going to be a bust.
On the defensive side.
Not offensive?
I think if he can pick a lane, I think his best route is just going on offense, focusing on that. You're at the top league. The guys around you in every position are the best players from college, in every position. So I think he really has to just focus on his offensive game first, because if he's on both sides of it, they're just going to try to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
I saw it on a 4th down play. He was guarding Andre Isiovas, whoever that guy is, and he PI'd on a 4th down. They just threw it his way because they knew that he was probably the weakest cornerback out there. So
the Jaguars put their faith and a whole bag of money in him, and so far, it's not paying off. On offense, barely 9 catches for 55 yards. That's a pitiful 6.1 yards a grab. On defense, not much better. Just average numbers that scream more rookie mistake than generational talent. The fans are already restless. Analysts are calling him overhyped, and whispers are flying that the Jaguars might have bet big on a highlight reel, not a real pro. This was supposed to be a dream start. Instead, it's looking like a nightmare. Don't get it twisted. Travis Hunter's got raw talent. Nobody is denying that he's an athletic freak, a competitor, and a guy who genuinely loves the game. But the problem is simple. He's trying to be Superman on both sides of the ball, and the warning signs were right there. Coaches, scouts, even old pros were saying this experiment could backfire. And now, the commentators are tearing him apart. The hype is collapsing right in front of us, and the Jaguars are catching strays right along with him. Chris Sims went straight for the jugular, and honestly, he's not wrong. He said Jacksonville didn't throw away the number 2 pick just to get average production.
Jacksonville Jaguars did not trade up to the number 2 pick to get Travis Hunter to come and play on both sides of the ball, and us sit here and go, did he do anything good on either side of the ball yesterday? That's what you traded up for the number 2 pick for? Like, just to be like, oh yeah, he was okay at receiver. Oh yeah, he did some things on the defensive side of the ball. Like, that's not why you make the trade for Travis.
They could have drafted a franchise quarterback, locked down a top wide receiver, or doubled up with a corner and receiver in the first 2 rounds. Instead, they gambled everything on Travis, even traded up and sacrificed draft capital to get him. And so far, the return looks shaky. Fans feel scammed, and media sharks are circling, asking if the Jaguars just set themselves back years. But here's the twist. Maybe it's not even Travis's fault. Steve Smith, legendary wideout turned analyst, dropped a bomb on his YouTube channel breaking this all down. He laid out why Hunter might be struggling so bad, and it all comes back to the system. Steve says when you're bouncing between offense and defense, you're missing those crucial details. The offensive coordinator meetings, the breakdowns of run game ideology, the little things that separate playmakers from legends. Basically, Travis is spreading himself too thin, and it's showing. This ain't just about stats anymore. It's about whether Jacksonville sabotaged their own golden ticket before the season even started. When Steve Smith broke it down, he painted the picture crystal clear. He said, "Look, when you're locked in on offense, You're in those meeting rooms with the receivers, tight ends, linemen, everybody. The coaches are drilling you on run schemes, blocking concepts, timing, adjustments. It's nonstop, and that's just scratching the surface. Smith reminded folks that back in his NFL days, he was hitting the facility at 7 a.m. sharp and not leaving until almost 10:30 at night. That's film sessions, workouts, strategy meetings, position drills, basically living inside the playbook. And all of that was just for one side of the ball. Now think about what happens next. After team meetings, you break it down even further with your position coach. For wide receivers, that means hours of studying defensive backs, figuring out tendencies, learning how to torch each individual matchup. And here's the kicker. Coordinators change schemes every single week. You might see some familiar faces in the AFC South 6 times a year, but across a full 17-game schedule, you're staring at brand new defenses and fresh playbooks almost every Sunday. That grind is already overwhelming for the guys who only focus on offense. Now stack Travis Hunter's situation on top of that. Wide receivers dedicate their entire week to learning one side of the ball, and Travis is trying to double up? He's expected to master offensive schemes and defensive game plans in the same week? That's insanity. No wonder his production is slipping. The workload he's carrying is the kind of thing that would break even seasoned veterans.
Coordinator is breaking down the philosophy for that week. We all meet offensive linemen, tight end, wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks. And we're all sitting there. And then they go over what the emphasis of this week, some of the nuances. And then after they do that, because the wide receivers have to sit and hear, hey, this is the blocking scheme on the run plays that we're doing. Wide receivers, check force. Hey, tight ends, when they call this you call, you have to possibly go ahead and double down. If we're running, double down and go to the second level. Then they break it off and say, hey, potty break. Hey, go get a piss. Go stretch your legs. Let's keep guys up. Let's not make them fall asleep. Then the offensive linemen leave. And now it's all predicated on the passing game.
And here's where things get even crazier. The defense is a whole different monster. Travis Hunter isn't just a wideout. He's lining up as a defensive back too. That means the defensive coordinator is throwing an entire system at him. Coverages, blitz packages, rotations, disguises, a mountain of information every single week. After the big team session, it gets even more detailed. Cornerbacks and nickelbacks break off into smaller rooms, drilling their assignments down to the smallest detail. That's another full-time job by itself. And this is the trap Travis has fallen into. He's splitting himself between two football worlds, offense and defense, and it's stretching him thin. Analysts, former players, even podcasters are starting to ask the hard question out loud. Is Travis Hunter headed for bust status? That word, bust, is poison for a rookie, and it's already floating around his name. Shout out to the Sandbox Sessions podcast because they called out one moment that perfectly showed the issue. The Jaguars were actually winning in a game against the Bengals. Momentum was on their side. But then, disaster. Travis lined up at nickel, 4th down, season-defining stop on the line. Instead of locking into his zone like the scheme demanded, he chased the receiver. Flag thrown. Pass interference. 1st down for Cincinnati. A rookie mistake, but one that changed the entire flow of the game. That play was supposed to prove he could handle the pressure. Instead, it showed the world just how messy this two-way experiment really is. That one penalty didn't just sting, it likely cost the Jaguars the entire game. And the ugly truth behind it? Travis Hunter isn't spending enough time locked in with the defensive coordinators. He's stretched way too thin, juggling both sides of the ball, and it's showing on the field. Jacksonville dumped a fortune into him, slapped him with impossible expectations, and now he's collapsing under the weight. They wanted Superman, but what they got is a rookie trying to do everything and excelling at nothing. The numbers don't lie. At wide receiver, he's been underwhelming. At cornerback, he's been inconsistent, and the critics are circling like sharks. Analysts are hammering his lack of sharpness, especially when it comes to his route running. At this level, Travis is supposed to be crisp, explosive, precise. Instead, he's sloppy. He rounds off cuts. He doesn't separate cleanly, and defenders are jumping his routes with ease. Yeah, every player drops a pass now and then, but when you look at his footwork and agility, it's clear. He doesn't have the smoothness that comes with endless repetition. And that's the problem. He's simply not getting enough reps to perfect anything. So here's the reality check. Travis Hunter needs to pick a lane. He can't be the savior of both offense and defense. The smartest move would be locking in at wide receiver, polishing his craft.
He needs to learn how to play receiver because the routes that he's running, they aren't crisp routes.
And building chemistry with his quarterback. Then, maybe down the road, sprinkle in some cornerback snaps when the moment calls for it. But trying to juggle both full-time? That's just ego talking. And in the NFL, ego will humble you quick. At the end of the day, no matter how big the paycheck or how crazy the hype, even the most gifted athlete can't do everything. There are moments in life where you can fake it, where talent alone covers up the flaws. In business? Maybe. In college football? Definitely. Travis Hunter pulled that off at Colorado. The competition wasn't stacked with elite pros, the schemes weren't as deep, and honestly, his athleticism was enough to make him look untouchable. He could play both sides of the ball, dominate, and walk away clean because nobody on that field could truly test him. But the NFL? That's a whole different jungle. Every single player out there is a top-tier athlete, faster, stronger, smarter, and fully locked in. There's no hiding, no shortcuts, no leaning on raw talent. And that's exactly where Travis is getting exposed. In college, quarterbacks didn't even bother throwing his way. In the NFL, it's the total opposite. They're targeting him on purpose. They see the cracks in his game, the lack of reps at cornerback, and they're picking him apart snap after snap. That's the brutal truth. Travis doesn't have the experience to hang with seasoned receivers at the pro level yet. And instead of protecting him, Jacksonville threw him into the fire and told him to play both roles at once. Now defenses are baiting him, offenses are testing him, and the can't-miss prospect is suddenly looking very missable. And here's the life lesson in all this. There comes a point where you can't do it all. Ego will tell you otherwise. Hype will convince you otherwise. But reality always wins. At some point, you gotta choose one lane, master it, and grind until it's second nature. Travis hasn't made that choice yet, and it's starting to cost him big. Here's the cold truth. Sometimes it doesn't matter how much you believe you can handle everything, reality will humble you. Travis Hunter is learning that lesson the hard way. He's not just a rookie in a new city, he's also a brand new father, a brand new husband, and he's trying to juggle 2 NFL positions at once. That's pressure stacked on pressure, and when the critics start piling on top of it, even the strongest confidence can start to crack. This doesn't mean Travis is trash, and it doesn't erase his talent. But the NFL doesn't care about hype. It's the first time in his life he's not automatically the best player on the field, and that can shake anybody. Plenty of first-round picks have walked in with all the hype in the world, only to realize the league is ruthless. And just like that, the dream career turns into a fight for survival. Because here's the truth most fans don't realize. Success in the NFL isn't just about talent. It's about the system you land in, the coaches you play under, the general manager who believes in you, and even the politics inside the organization. You could be drafted high, start hot, then boom. Your coach gets fired, a new GM comes in, and suddenly you're not their guy anymore. Or worse, one injury and the narrative flips overnight. Travis Hunter is staring down all those possibilities at once. The money's been spent, the expectations are sky high, but now luck, timing, and fit are just as important as his skills. And if those pieces don't line up soon, he might be remembered as the kid who had everything and lost it just as fast. Travis Hunter is getting hit with a brutal wake-up call right now. You can't do everything at the highest level, and that's okay, but somebody needs to drill it into his head. In life, everybody needs help. Everybody needs focus. Sometimes the smartest move isn't adding more to your plate, it's cutting things off, trimming the chaos, and locking in on what you do best. Because if you try to be great at everything, sooner or later you'll get exposed by somebody who mastered just one thing. That's why legends like Warren Buffett never tried to become real estate moguls or Silicon Valley kings. He stuck to what he knew: stocks and buying businesses. Master one lane, build dominance, and let that be your empire. That's how you win long term. Travis needs that same mentality. Simplify the game before it swallows him whole. The danger he's facing is simple. While he's splitting his time between wide receiver and cornerback, other rookies are putting in triple the reps at just one position. Those guys are polishing their craft, sharpening their skills, and getting game ready while Travis is juggling 2 separate playbooks. And in the NFL, that gap adds up fast. Yes, Travis understands both positions, but understanding isn't the same as mastering. At this level, quarterbacks and receivers aren't just athletic. They're surgical, experienced, and ruthless. They see the smallest weakness and exploit it instantly. And right now, Travis Hunter is walking around with weaknesses on both sides of the ball, practically daring them to pick on him. The NFL doesn't reward almost. It rewards precision, and Travis isn't there yet. In college, Travis could get away with being the best athlete on the field. Not anymore. Now he's facing quarterbacks with cannons for arms, quarterbacks who read defenses like books, offensive coordinators who design plays to hunt weaknesses, and head coaches who've been masterminds in this league for decades. It's a whole different level, a chess match where one wrong move costs you everything. And here's the truth. Sometimes you just can't keep up no matter how talented you are. That doesn't mean Travis Hunter is broken. It doesn't mean he's trash. It just means the NFL is exposing the gaps that raw talent alone can't cover. The question now is whether he learns, adjusts, and locks in on one role, or if this Superman experiment keeps pulling him down until confidence and career both take a hit. Either way, the eyes of the league are on him and the clock is ticking. So what do you think? Is Travis Hunter still destined for greatness, or is this the first sign of a career spiraling out of control? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, share this video with somebody following his journey, and don't forget to subscribe for more breakdowns like this. Turn those notifications on because you don't want to miss the next twist in this story. See you in the next one.